What's going on, you guys? Jay here, and welcome back to the channel. So we're diving into a Do Kwon update, and it's been a while since we've heard anything relatively interesting on the DK side of things. If anything, LUNC has had a lot of closure in these past months. There was many people that said to me we were never going to burn the 1.86 billion. It would cause a lot of issues between the chain and the SEC, to eventually see the SEC go forward and actually burn that 1.86 billion USTC held in the LFG reserve. And this was a huge step for us, and it actually begins to signal more possible support in the future. And if a burn as substantial as that is possible, well, then anything's possible. And as we've said many times here on the channel, the most far-fetched thing that sounds completely untrue, it seems like it wouldn't fit together, it's not possible, or it's too good to be true, a lot of the times has happened to us. Many people, when I first started the channel, said to me that Binance were never going to burn. No one was burning any LUNC. There was no support there. It was a dead and dying chain. And that simply wasn't the case at the time. As a lot of you know here, being early adopters of the Happy Catty crypto environment, you all supported the original videos where we were going through, we were showing the burns, we were seeing coins being removed, and eventually we saw Binance burn a little bit behind the scenes to see them eventually come out in the future. So believe me now, what we're going to go over in this video, there is a possible chance there that we could see some sort of buyback initiative in the future. So like I said, let's just dive straight into this one. And the last we heard of DK was around March 5th. And this was the fact that the trial was going to be delayed due to around 4 terabytes of evidence. And that evidence is coming in different forms. And the prosecutors have already handed over approximately 600 gigabytes of data, including information from 4 cell phones previously owned by Do Kwon. And the evidence also includes emails from Kwon's personal and business accounts, extradition related documents, and materials obtained by the FBI in Montenegro. So they're going to be discussing a lot of stuff today, and as you can imagine, it is that day. We are at April 10th, and we mentioned this in a video a while ago that the bite and crunch of this situation is really going to be a lot of ups and downs, a lot of useless articles that really don't mean anything to us. At this point, it's better to distance the chain from TFL, from Luna, and from DK. But what we are most interested in as a community is definitely what remains in the LFG reserve and the other coins that are floating around. So today is April 10th, and at around 10:30 a.m., that's going to be United States time, we're going to see a hearing, if you will. And there's going to be a lot discussed in this hearing. They're going to be going over a lot of different aspects, and the court is likely going to review the status of the case with both parties, the government, and Do Kwon being the defense. This is going to probably include things like checking whether the parties have adhered to the discovery process, which is effectively the exchange of evidence, and address any outstanding issues. Now, considering the order excludes time until April 10th, 2025 under the Speedy Trial Act, the court may address any disputes or delays, probably in the discovery process, as we've seen in the previous TFL court hearing. The exclusion of time, it really begins to suggest, from my understanding, with everything we've gone through here on the channel, that the court is actually allowing the defense additional time to review materials. And what a positive outcome really would be from today's conference is whether they confirm if this process is complete, or if further adjustments are needed, if they need more time to review that 600 gigabytes worth of evidence. The parties should raise really any concerns, issues, or motions that need to be addressed before the pre-trial motion deadline. So you can find all of these deadlines in this court document that is shown here, and then I can also give you a direct link to the official court document and the official PACER system as well, which is really handy because you can get all of the updates on the fly. They're legit, they're coming directly from the horse's mouth, as we like to say here on the channel. So this is going to be a very interesting year for our ecosystem, because we really are beginning to outgrow TFL from my perspective. And there's a lot of different discussions out there on what funds are available. There's a couple of fishwife tales, as I like to call them, that are floating around, that there's 10,000 BTC that has been moved by Do Kwon or TFL, and this is simply not the case. As per the final judgment in Delaware, Do Kwon, TFL, and anybody that was involved in it is no longer involved. They have no say, no sway, and they are legally obligated to stay away from crypto entirely. Trust me when I say if any coins have moved, and I haven't seen 10,000 BTC move, not in regards to any wallets that we know here with all of our data, but the simple bite and crunch really is there are coins out there that effectively did belong to this chain and maybe still belong to this chain. We need to understand that this is the criminal case that we're going through. That's why there's a CR on all of these documents. So today, being April 10th, that conference is going to go ahead. They'll confirm the pre-trial schedule. They'll address any disputes, requests from the other parties, as I've mentioned. They're going to ensure that the case is on track for the trial, which is scheduled for January 26th, 2026. So we've got a considerable amount of time before this thing even begins to move. The focus is going to be on the procedural matters to keep the case moving forward efficiently, and that's really what we can hope for in these circumstances. TFL had a very abrupt wind down, and I like the way that that happened because it was very beneficial for this blockchain. It was just really sad to see different validators out there, like Mr. Diamond Hands, working in the shadows to shut down that proposal to burn that 1.86 billion USTC, whilst the chain still had momentum from the mirror, the anchor, and the shuttle bridge burning. As a lot of you know, I have got intricate data when it comes down to all of the wallets that were part of the TFL wind down, assets that belong to Do Kwon, wallets that were part of Project Dawn. We've got a lot of data, as you know. Now, the situation is there was a lot of BTC moved, but the main bulk of that BTC was around 1,075. This is a considerable amount of BTC. It's currently valuing at around $88 million, and it was sent to a fresh wallet, and this fresh wallet is in the hands and control of the SEC and those who are responsible for it, which are normally the local sheriff's department, which would likely be the Delaware Sheriff's Department, who hold any crypto assets as per the law. So going forward, we need to really stay within the realms of reality. Can we say for certain that there's 10,000 BTC that has been purchased, moved, or swapped, or we can't? There's no direct evidence to point to that. But what we can say is there's certainly around, I would say, 2,500 BTC that we can currently account for, and 313 of those are sat inside the LFG reserve. And the LFG reserve was specifically created to defend the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem and nothing else. That's why all of the Terraform crypto assets were subject to burning at the end of that court case, all being done and dusted, and us having that space with Chris Armani and as per the final judgment. So, what I would start to say to everybody is put your tinfoil hats on for a little bit. Think about the times when we've spoken about Binance, we've explained to you and broken down the court documents of how we can burn all of these assets legitimately, and they're only going to burn them anyway, and we should do it during the bull cycle. Get your hats on. Everybody said it wouldn't be the case that the SEC, the Sheriff's Department, the people who are in control of the LFG reserve would go and they would burn that USTC. But we saw that happen. And what I'm starting to better understand is the court documents, what has been determined as Terraform crypto assets. This is broad terminology and it can be stretched over to the Luna Foundation Guard because essentially this was a system that was built to serve the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem, as I've mentioned. So effectively, these coins do belong to the blockchain. They do not belong to the creditors. They do not belong to any rect holders. In fact, they simply belong to the Luna Foundation Guard. There could be a probable path in the future where we are presented with multiple options. I'm going to give you two of the tasty ones, let's say. There could be a time when we do need to form some kind of legal body, and I do not mean made up from validators on chain, I mean from actual accredited legal people that can represent the financial side of this ecosystem and act as a trustee. Yes, people like this do exist, it's their daytime job. Now, what we would like to see is them go, hey, here's Terra Classic, here's the 313 BTC, let's hand it over to the ecosystem. Let's give control of these reserves to the ecosystem and allow them to decide what they want to do with it, if they want to enact a buyback on USTC as was originally planned to defend the peg, or do they want to walk down a different route? The other form would be them actually going ahead and selling all of this BTC and actually buying USTC and following out and carrying out those final orders that were given for the LFG reserve. These are, like I said, tinfoil hat situations where you've really got to come in with an open and broad mind. But I would say to everybody, look at all of the crazy things that have happened. The amount of things that came out during the court case, it was baffling to me. So I would never ever say to somebody in crypto, it's not possible. Absolutely everything is possible in crypto. And that's something I have learned over the course of 3 years. If we want it that badly, we can materialize these things just like we made the LFG reserve assets burn, just like we made the shuttle bridge assets burn, just like we as an ecosystem work together to get all of these things done, burn the mirror protocol assets, burn the anchor protocol assets. We are now a chain that can. We really are in control of our own future. And I really do believe remaining decentralized is key because essentially, if we reintroduce some kind of centralized body like Terra Rebels, they're going to cement themselves in position through governance this time. They're going to do it prim, they're going to do it proper. There's a lot of bad people out there, bad actors, whatever you want to call them, and we must ensure that they never gain control over the ecosystem because, by gosh, there is a chance that we could see 313 BTC that belongs to the ecosystem come back to the ecosystem. But let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know what you think's going to happen in today's hearing. Is it going to have a positive effect on the price? Is it going to have a negative effect on the price? My perspective is this is overall positive. We're seeing justice getting served. We're seeing the wheels, right, turning. We're seeing bad people being punished. A lot is going to come out during the court case, and I think a lot of it is going to answer the questions as to what LunkDAO were doing, what they were up to, what the connection is with Three Arrows Capital, and why they're actually trying to get many $1 million out of the court case itself. It's very interesting. Need to cover it all in the video. Need to break it down. But like I said, let me know what you guys think. Aside that, stay safe. Let me know if there's anything you else want me to cover. I'll keep you up to date on the Do Kwon thing. And yeah, just catch you in the next one.